Spring, fight back. Fight back, Spring. Come on, you got it. Tell me why it is the last day of April and it's 40-something degrees. It's freezing. But nevertheless, I got another set of videos I want y'all to check out. But before we get into it, run an intro.
I know that I don't make things clear. No. I fall for you every time I try to resist you. We can get away. Palm trees, beach views, ordinary day. All I wanna hear is.
Okay, so I got two videos for you. One of them kind of long, so I'm gonna let it play. I did see this video, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, and it was kind of heartbreaking. And I feel that I really want to let him tell his story because it is a story that affects a lot of people. And it's one of those stories that not a lot of men actually talk about. And the fact that he did talk about it, I got a lot of respect for him. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into this first video. Let's do this.
As a kid, I used to commit felonies on purpose as a source of protection from the abuse I faced at home.
All right. When I was 5 years old, I started to get molested by my uncle. And over the course of the next 6 years of my life, I was molested by more than 5 men. So when I was 7, I broke into a church and I got charged with a felony and put on probation. And when I got put on probation, all the men that were molesting me went away. And so when I got off probation, they all came back. And so I went and broke the law again and got put on probation again. So my whole life, I continued to go out and break the law. I would purposely go out and catch felonies because this is how I protected myself. My mother didn't care. I didn't have any other family members. And so to protect myself from the abuse, that's what I would do. And I told on my uncle, and his threats came true because he would tell me as a little kid when he was molesting me, if you tell anybody, I'll have to hurt the whole family. And while he didn't hurt the family like he thought, when I told on him, he went to prison and my whole family fell apart. We no longer went to grandma's house. There was no more aunts, no more uncles, no more cousins. Everybody blamed me. It was my fault. And it turned me into this reclusive kid. And it made me a target in school because I had no self-confidence. I was horribly bullied going through school. And by the time I was 15, I had 10, 12 felonies on my record. And so the judge was sick of me and bound me over to adult court. And when I went in at 16, he sent me to prison. And I had never been taken away before. I had never been locked up. So I didn't know what was coming. And I was just this abused kid from the country. And they put me in prison when I was 16, and I was raped the first week I was there by 2 men at knife point. And it turned me into a savage. And I became this very violent human being because that became my source of protection. And I no longer feared physical pain. I no longer feared felonies. I had resolved that I was going to spend the rest of my life in prison. And when I was 21, they opened the doors and sent me back to the world with $75 and 3 condoms and no parole, no probation. And I didn't know how to protect myself anymore from the monster that I had become. And so I started to rob people and I started to hurt people. And for 20 months, I was just a horrible stain in the world. And I was ultimately convicted of 15 more felonies and sent back to prison for 12 more years. And it became a safety net for me to get into trouble, to catch felonies. I felt like that's what my life was worth. And ultimately spent 18 years. So, well, that was my secret.
Can I ask where you're at today?
Today, I'm super happy. I was given 5 years in solitary confinement while I was in prison, and I met a Muslim man who changed my life. He became my mentor, taught me about processing emotion, taught me about forgiveness of others and myself, taught me about kindness and compassion and love, and I've dedicated my life to that ever since. I am so whole and healed, and I spend my life helping people do it.
What advice would you give to any boy or man going through any similar experiences you went through?
Speak. Speak. Tell somebody. Right? Our voice is our healing mechanism. Our voice is what can save us. It's what can stop the abuse. Speak. Say something. Tell anybody that you can. There's a lot of boys going through it. And I just want to, if I could, I'd heal the world, right? And so I hope that my life and my story are somehow help, right? Sorry.
No, it's okay. Thank you so much for sharing.
Okay. That was a lot. You know, when it comes to sexual traumas performed on men, we have the tendency not to speak up because of shame. And I think that that's the reason why so many men who still have the mentality of little boys, because they stopped at that age. They stopped growing. Their innocence was taken from them brutally. And they felt this sense of, well, I can only hold the family together if I keep this secret. And so the weight of the world is weighing on their shoulders. And it's really a tragic situation because you can hear in his voice how broken he was, how hurt he was. And I'm glad that he met someone in prison of religious faith that helped him process his emotions because he needed it. He thought jail was his comfort. He thought jail was his safe place away from people who hurt him, and then they hurt him in jail. That's tough. That is tough. Word of advice, men, if you're going through this or went through this,
Don't let it consume you.
if you feel that you have to speak on it so you can have your own personal healing, then just do it. All right, let's shake that off. That was tough. This is a short video, but I've seen this too. But I want to talk about it with y'all, so let's get into it.
Black women got less matches on dating apps, less swipes.
From all of my experience in matchmaking, absolutely. Hands down. There was no question.
Why?
Well, you know, there's lots of reasons. One reason is that when it comes to outside of Gen Z, so if you look at millennials, you look at Gen X, you look at baby boomers, we typically choose ethnicity over every other category. So ethnicity ended up being one of the first selections of a partner. And we would either bring you know, we would either include you or exclude you based on ethnicity.
Okay, let's talk about it. The first thing he said was outside of Gen Z. So he's saying millennials, baby boomers, Gen X, all of them are choosing different ethnicities. The only person who are choosing black women as a whole the most is Gen Z. There's a reason for that. And until society has been honest with black women, they're gonna still put out these little videos. Nobody's choosing black women because we're so great. It's because millennials, Gen X, and the baby boomers tend to have money. And because they have money, people who actually have a financial abundance is not going to pick a chaotic race, ethnicity of people like the black woman.
He ain't lying.
They're just not going to do it. The black woman can be chaotic. She could be argumentative. She could be aggressive. She could be mean.
Girl, bye.
The number one ethnicity to abort your child and divorce you, the higher her education is. And it has nothing to do with the fact that she's not beautiful. The black woman is beautiful. That mouth, though. That mouth. That mouth will keep your ass out of doors that you will never ever be able to get into again. It's because of that mouth. And I feel like the only people who won't tell you that is Gen Z. And that's because they don't have any money. So they'll let you brainwash them on the internet. You'll buy younger Gen Z men's shoes and PlayStation so you can manipulate them and tell them what to do. Tracy Ellis Ross.
And
But anybody who have their own financial security, they're not going to be interested in you. And that probably have a lot to do with you. I don't know. Anyway, tell me what you think. Make sure that you drop me a like, a comment, a share. Subscribe to the channel. By me being a new channel, all those things really help. I really do appreciate it because it helps out the algorithm. And until next time, I'm Solomon, and out.